I would have to say Dark Messiah, Might and Magic. Most people probably don't know about this game. It did not receive the praise it did. You could blame it on marketing, you could blame it on a lot of things, but what I really loved about this game was, first off, it's an RPG that is an FPS. No shooter, but it's in first person the entire time. Well, it's got both, you technically see it. Anyways, it's an FPS, right? Which any game that wants to immerse you, in my opinion, full immersion, kind of has to be an FPS. Like, there's no way to get the player to feel like he's in that world more than first-person perspective.
I don't know. I mean, Fallout and Elder Scrolls did that, and that was kind of...
It was kind of there, but I mean, when you're in that first-person perspective and you're seeing, like you're that player, you go through the action sequences, you're getting stabbed in the face, I like FPSs a lot more. For immersion, other games can do it too. I'm just saying the best way to do it, I think, is first-person perspective.
So know nothing about this game, because for me, I played Might and Magic games once, and they were horrible.
It's not a Might and Magic game, then.
Yeah. I mean, let's make that clear.
Let's make that clear. Yeah. It's Dark Messiah, Might and Magic.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, is the fact they tacked on Might and Magic too. That's why I think no one's ever heard of this game. That's why I probably never gave it a shot.
We put on the Might and Magic title, it's a killer.
Yeah, it kills your chances of even making this halfway successful. So, I mean, what about it made it good? Because, I mean, because I think the big thing with Elder Scrolls, it was a very kind of cool, immersive world, but because it was in first person, the battling system felt kind of lacking.
Well, I don't think the battle system was made to... Because I always wondered when they made Oblivion, I just have to say, if they had a debate, should we make it third person, should we make it first person? Because they have a camera view for both. And when you're developing a game, it's not exactly the easiest thing to just spend time throwing on a camera view that can apply to any. I still love the first person. I think, some of the magic and things were kind of broken in Oblivion in the first place. They didn't feel that fun. That's why I went with the sword. But like I said, when you're the sword and you pull back on that sword, you're getting ready for a lunge attack, and you lunge in that first person perspective and then lose your enemy for a second, that's what I mean when I say immersion. When you're in that battle, you're really in that battle, for the most part.
So, I mean,
now, what I liked about Dark Messiah, Might and Magic also, RPG-wise, besides the storyline, you get a demon chick in your head at one point. The commentary, the dialogue was absolutely hilarious. Like, at one point, because there's this flirtation between pretty much, you got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on one other, and this is where the storyline splits off. And when you're starting to kind of flirt with the angel chick, if you will, who's not inside your head, she's not a demon, the demon chick's comment was like, I know how to thank you properly. And just these funny little things she said throughout the entire game, trying to wean you whether or not to be evil or good, because the plot is you kind of the son of a demon-like guy, and it all comes out in the end. Spoiler alert. If you haven't played it by now, you need to. Any case, it also had a really good system of allowing you to determine how you wanted to fight, whether it be swords, magic, or any of them. And another point of that dialogue, let's say, you really could. One of the flaws of some games that say they want you to play how you want to play is that they're normally experience-based on kills alone, how many people you kill. This game was more of objective-based experience with, there was, I believe, a little tiny bit of experience you gained from kills, but not enough to make it really a determining factor, because if you want to upgrade stealth, you could stealth around your enemies, hit pocket them instead of kill them, open the door you're trying to go to, and you just completed that objective and got that experience if you wanted to play that way. I don't. I'd rather stab this. There's this point, I was watching my friend play, and he's stealthing around. He goes up, and you can also level up, so you pretty much one-hit stab from the back, doing a massive amount of damage, and then you disappear into the shadows. His allies come by him. It was an orc, and they're like, the comments were hilarious. Like, what happened to him? I don't know. He just died. It's like, it just happened. It's like, that's what I really enjoyed about the game. Probably I'd have to say all the dialogue the most, but as well being able to choose how you play, and you had this adrenaline meter, which was so much fun, and the adrenaline meter would give you special effects on anything you're using. Let's say you were using a debilitating spell that weakened your enemy. If you had the adrenaline meter full, which is an instant kill basically, you shrunk them and turned them into like a tiny little thing. You could just stomp on them. You had, your telekinesis full, grab them, throw them around. Ice, permanently freeze them, break them to pieces. Along with the environment being a huge part of how you fought any enemy. It was a great game. I could go on for hours.
I'd rather say that, because, most people haven't played this, but you did make it sound impressive. It's actually something I check out now. I would have never...
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I would have never, ever gave this game a chance because I had Might and Magic attached to it.
I saw it on Steam for sale a while ago, and I actually forced my friends to buy it. I pulled out a friend card and said, if you love me, You have to buy this game.
If you're my friend, you will get this.
They regret nothing.
All right. So Chuck, you're number 2.
All right, it's pretty rare that an RPG really grabs me. That's why I really never got into RPGs that much. But Mass Effect 2 is definitely one of the ones that grabbed me. I loved the story. I loved the mechanics. All of the characters in it were really fun and interesting. It was just an all-around great game. I enjoyed the crap out of it.
And like I said, if it wasn't for The Witcher 2 and me just playing that, Mass Effect 2 would have been on my top 3. And like I said, I've been playing RPGs since the dawn of me getting a hand on a controller, since like the Nintendo days. And the Mass Effect 2 was amazing. It actually, it was the accumulation of everything BioWare's kind of learned over the years and how to develop a story. Mm-hmm. It was one of the very first games that actually introduced sci-fi into an RPG game and really make me care about it. And it wasn't based on a franchise; it was their own story and their own sci-fi world, and it was cool as hell. I loved the shit out of Shepard and all the things he got into and all the characters around him. It was great.
And then making the decisions like at the end as to who does what and like the repercussions of those decisions.
Oh yeah,
that was a lot of fun. I had to sit there and like I don't know what to do.
Because the ending mattered. Because the ending, I don't know if this may be a spoiler to quite a few, but in the ending, your choices can actually determine who of your party members survives. Mm-hmm.
And like if you play the next game, it determines who goes on to the next game.
Yeah, it's very important. All your decisions matter to that ending.
And that's another thing I love about the Mass Effect series is the
continuation.
The continuation between the games, it recognizes your save data and implements that into the next game. So I thought that was really cool and interesting.
Yeah. They planned it from the beginning.
So does Witcher 2. I just have to state that was also a cool feature.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. If you played the original Witcher, some things came through. But also, if you didn't play the original Witcher and you got into the Witcher 2, there was no tutorial.
None.
Like there's ever the Witcher's not known for that.
Yeah, no, it's they kind of throw you in there, figure it out. There you go.
Oh, if you don't, no. My friend Priv is like, no, there are totally hint tips that come up. I'm like, they only come up when you're in combat, getting killed, and you don't have time to both try and defend yourself and read what the blue sign did.
Yeah, pretty much so. So Mass Effect 2 definitely was a great game, and Mass Effect 3 is coming out, and anybody who's ever played any of this franchise has to be excited for Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, I'm thrilled for Mass Effect 3.
This takes what you did for Mass Effect 1, what you've made choices in Mass Effect 2, and raves them all together, and it's going to change depending upon what you did in those games, what happens in Mass Effect 3, who the characters are that are around you, everything. It's really going to matter. And it's the first franchise that actually has ever done that on this level. And I hope to God more games follow this sort of line if they're going to do sequels.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh, I do have to say, there are a couple things about Mass Effect that really bugged me. A lot of my friends were with me on this one. 2, why do they hate me so much? 2 sold like the main storyline like it's supposed. I'm like, the storyline of 2 was getting your team together, and everyone agrees with this. And I almost feel like they would have done themselves a service if they cut out the primary storyline. Because once again, spoiler alert: the hell was the point of that humanoid robot at the end? What was the plot? Like, really, what was the how? They're already giant sentient monsters from hell come to obliterate
they wanted a cool
all
boss
existence
battle.
And you're like, oh, they've been stealing humans so they can make this. Okay, why are humans related to this creature? It's robotic. It's bottom line being is it made no sense. It was pointless. It's like it felt maybe it wasn't chopped on, but they definitely need to give me reasons to believe it.
Well, maybe Mass Effect 3 will.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of the storyline.
Don't give me a maybe. Don't scare me.
Don't
I have faith.
Like that.
I have faith, man. Secondly, what kind of bugged me was, first off, I got Mass Effect 1 on the 360 originally. 2 I bought on the PC. So, of course, my save files aren't transferring over. That's not happening. And it's like, okay, I'm cool with that. But why isn't there a system where you start up a new game, instead of randomizing the options you made, that the pivotal decisions you chose, you can kind of say, I did this. Did you kill the arachnid? Yes or no? Allow me to kind of figure out where it went. Also, so if I want to start the game again from the beginning and not have to play all the way through Mass Effect again to have a different save files so it starts differently, allow me the option to choose what I did.
I can agree to that.
Yeah.
That's been a good
No,
option.
I'll go with that.
If any developers listening, I'm begging you.
Please do that for Mass Effect 3.
Maybe they will. Who knows? Let's hope.
All I know is Mass Effect 3 is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty much all it is to it.